Hello, my name is Cheyenne Hoelscher, and I'm representing the ELA department at Annistown Elementary School in Snellville, Georgia. Before we start, it is important to note some of the data is based off the regular education classes and not the DLI classes. This is a dual language immersion school. Therefore, two of the classes on each grade level teach Spanish for half the day and English for the other half of the day. That data is not included in the regular education data, such as the multilingual learners that are in the dual language immersion. They are not included, and the special education students that are in that group as well. The purpose of this presentation is to review demographic changes in the last 3 years at Annistown Elementary School. It is also to review changes within the English Language Arts Department using the Georgia Milestones Assessment compared to the school district, as well as the state. Continue ongoing data analysis to pinpoint areas of targeted improvement within the English Language Arts Department, and to identify strengths and weaknesses in the current ELA instruction at Annistown Elementary School. As we move through and review data, here are some questions to consider. What are the current strengths for ELA instruction? What are the current weaknesses for ELA instruction? What adjustments can teachers make to improve ELA instruction for all students? How can the ELA department use short-term formative data to gauge student progress? Which group of students are not performing proficiently? And what can ELA teachers do to help students progress to a proficient level or higher? The first piece of data that we will look at is the College and Career Readiness Performance Index. The College and Career Readiness Index, CCRPI, is an assessment based on 5 components that measure how ready a student is for college or to go into a career. According to the Georgia DOE, the College and Career Ready Performance Index, CCRPI, is Georgia's annual tool for measuring how well its schools, districts, and the state itself are preparing students for the next educational level. The 5 components that the Georgia DOE discuss are content mastery, progress, closing gaps, readiness, and graduation rate. These 5 components help school districts, educators, and families prepare their student to succeed outside of the high school environment. This is the current data that has been collected over the last 3 years for the CCRPI for Annistown Elementary, Gwinnett County, and Georgia. In 2020 and 2021, we can see Annistown and Gwinnett County staying at a steady decline. However, in 2022, Annistown had a decrease of 3 points in the CCRPI, while the state decreased by nearly 10 points. It is important to note that COVID happened around that time and may have had an impact on some of this data as we continue moving forward. It is also important to look at student enrollment. When we look at the 2022-2023 school year, the student population has increased by 19 students. There are currently 709 students present in the school. Since the 2020 and 2021 school year, there has been a steady increase of 19 students each year, increasing the population. We can also look at student enrollment by gender. Based on the information gathered, there are an equal amount of males to females. This has been a steady line for the last 3 years. As student population increases, so does the number of males to female ratio, which is 50-50. The breakdown of student population by unique population is also important to be in answering questions about data. This data is based upon 2022 data, where 701 students are present. It's important to note that these are students not in the DLI and do not receive any kind of services, such as multilingual learners and gifted learners and special education students. They receive support from their DLI instructors who are serviced in the ESOL, special ed, and gifted services. During this time, 415 students were calculated to be in a regular education classroom. 48 students were in gifted education, 82 students are in special education, and 156 students are multilingual learners. Just a reminder, this is data based on regular education classrooms and not the DLI cohort. When we look at the breakdown of student enrollment by socioeconomic status, we can see a majority of Annistown receives free and reduced lunch. According to the data on the Georgia County Public Schools demographics page, it says 75.2% of students within the school receive free and reduced lunch. This means that 24.8% of students within the school pay or bring their own lunch. This percentage of free and reduced lunch is over the 40% required to qualify for a Title I school. This means that Annistown Elementary is a Title I funded school, and we receive funds through the government. This information is compared to GCPS as a whole. The percentage of free and reduced lunch across the county is 54.7%, which means over half of the county is on free and reduced lunch. When we break that down on a graph, we can see that 527 students out of 701 receive free and reduced lunch. Only 174 students bring or pay for their lunch on a daily basis. Breaking down student enrollment by race and ethnicity, we can see the majority race is Black or African American, and the minority is the Asian and multiracial groups. Over time, these two groups have seen a steady increase, while the white population is steadily decreasing. The Black and African American population has stayed the same and or moved by a point. Student attendance is one of the areas of concern for Annistown Elementary. It has become a growing concern, and initiatives have been put into place to monitor this. When we look at the data, we can see that in Annistown, only 53.9% of the school has regular attendance, while Gwinnett County has, on average, about 57.9% of regular attendance. For Annistown, only 19.1% of the missing percentage is what we call chronic absences, where the students miss regularly. This is a concern with students not being present in the class to learn, along with district-wide concerns that need to be addressed. As for staff, there are a total of 61 staff members present in the building. 55 of them are female and 6 of them are male. 67.2% of the staff are Black or African American, while only 18% of the staff are white. And there are 13.1% Hispanic. The smallest race and ethnicity are the Asian group, and they are 1.7% of the population of the staff. These demographics reflect the student demographics within the school, with Black or African American being the highest, and white coming in next, followed by Hispanic and Asian groups. We can break down the years of experience that the teachers in the building have. Note, this is a small school within Gwinnett County. In the past few years, there has been quite a bit of movement based on points allotted for teachers. The majority of our teachers are in the 0 to 5 years of experience. This means they are new to the education field, while admin falls into the 6 to 10 year category. The rest of the categories include grade chairs, support staff, and intervention teachers, and those fall into the 11 and up categories. Now to dive into the end of the year milestones data. Based on the last 3 years of data, Annistown has steadily increased by 7 points in scoring proficient on their assessments for ELA. This has followed GCPS steady growth as well. However, as the students continue to move to proficient, the beginning and developing levels has also increased, reflecting the student population growth within the school and district. So as the population continues to increase, the increase in beginning and developing have also increased. Therefore, there have been no changes made and no decreases. Lastly, to break down the end of the year data using race and ethnicity. With this data, we can see the students most at risk by focusing on the beginning and developing levels. It is important to note the Asian and multicultural populations did not have any data. I can see by looking at this data, the most at-risk group are the Hispanic and multilingual learners. We need to create student-driven instruction to continue to push these students to hit the proficient level. The next group that would fall into the danger category would be the Black or African American subgroup, and we just need to continue to push them with student-driven instruction. This leads us to our conclusions, such as our school strengths, weaknesses, and next steps. Some of the strengths for Annistown are the amount of teachers with 6 or more years of experience in teaching ELA. This provides us with strong grade level chairs, strong support staff that can influence those with 5 years or less. We also have increased focus on the science of reading using a new curriculum called EL. This focuses on the foundations such as phonological awareness and phonics skills, especially in the lower grades, and grammar skills in the upper grades. And we have a consistent increase in enrollment numbers within our school. For the weaknesses, there is a high percentage of students not attending school regularly, and a high number of chronically absent students. This causes a problem in the classroom when they are not present to learn and then have to take the milestone assessment. We also have a high number of multilingual learners performing at the beginning phases, with very few performing at the proficient to distinguished phase. This is due to a lack of ESOL support teachers. They do not get pulled from DLI. They get stuck with their DLI teacher, which is fine. They just don't receive any extra support. And then there is a lack of school support for new teachers. While there are good grade chairs and good grade level leads, there are not good support for those new teachers outside of that area. Finally, the next steps are to follow up with the possible questions to follow from the beginning of this presentation. This can be a discussion and a guide to develop possible answers and solutions to the challenges faced. Discuss possible reasons for the low performance of students on the Georgia milestones. Next, you can create an action plan to target low-performing subgroups and create an action plan to improve student attendance by reaching out and monitoring students that are less likely to come to school. Thank you for your time today and to allow me to present Annistown's data to you.